Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. It's 1v1 ladder action featuring a couple of your favourite pros for your viewing entertainment today. And the best news is there's no news, so we can go straight to that action, which is going down on Frithen, which is a new map as far as I'm concerned. New to the ladder pool, it may not be, but new to me, certainly. We will talk about it more in just a moment. First of all, we'll give these guys some time, allow them to gate in and make our important introductions to our players, starting with the top right corner, in the red corner if you will. It is Alt F4 Kryak going UEF, terribly sensible, opening first land. And over here is opponent today in the bottom left blue corner. It is Silent Noob going Seraphim, although if chat is to be believed, by mistake, and apparently not his mistake. Sort this out, Jip, if you're watching, sir. Ignoring his faction choices, that can't be right. That might be a fancy way of occluding a misclick on his part, but let's reserve judgment since we don't know either way. Anyway, here he is. He's going Seraphim, opening first and second land. Let's go back up here. Let's go to split screen so we can check out their opening build orders. I know you guys are all very keen on that. So we've gone first land and then 2 P-gens for Silent Noob, followed by second mass extractor. First mass extractor built by the engineer, and then he's going to proceed with another mass extractor off the comm, and then the land factory after that. What's Kryak doing at the other end of the screen? Well, he went land factory and pumped out three mexes, actually. I was about to say a couple, but it's three. He's been completely ignoring T1 P-gen production because he's gone straight for the Hydro, which is a stone's throw away over here, with the first 2 engineers off the conveyor belt, and then he's gone to assist it with his comm, and then after that I'm sure we will get some more T1 P-gens. He's queued up 5 and got a air factory and a land factory after that. So that's the basic gist of how these guys are opening. What has the map got in store for us today? Well, that is the mass reclaim distribution. I suppose you could make a case for making a beeline to the center to get your hands on some of these little mass fields here, but I mean, it's hardly going to make you rich. It's about 1,000 mass if you manage to grab both of those, and then you've got some little isolated pockets off towards the corners and around these little ridges. Water, virtually not worth mentioning, to be honest. Couple of puddles here and there, not big enough to swing a cat, let alone plonk a naval yard in. And otherwise, broadly speaking, it's pretty flat, with the exception of these 2 plateaus, which are each housing a couple of mass points each. And then we've got little sort of pockets of mass here and there that seem to come in 2s, 2x2s, said Noah. And then we've got a little trio here and here, but that's broadly speaking it. Oh yes, I suppose a raised plateau in the bottom right and top left corner with a hydro plonked in there for good measure. Looks like there's a decent amount of reclaim there, actually. So, well, there's about 250, 260, something like that. First air scout in play. It's out from Kryak. He's going to give himself a good read of intel. We've also got a Selen moving out from Silent Noob up towards this top left-hand corner. They're just sort of skirting this western approach up here on the left-hand side of the screen. Oh, nice denial there from Kryak, who blasts an air scout out of the sky belonging to Silent Noob. It was just traversing the map, minding its own business, going to sneak a look at what's happening at the top right. Well, we can see what's happening at the top right, and we've got 4 or 5 mech marines just standing around here. I wonder. Currently producing an air scout. I'm getting a little bit excited here because when I see labs being pumped out but not immediately dispatched on a combat mission, that makes me think we might get some ghetto play coming our way. Interceptors tangling on the left-hand side of the screens, and so far Kryak playing a bit of a blinder here in the early game with his T1 interceptor prowess. Minor air dominance achieved. T1 bomber out over here with no protection whatsoever. Once that gets discovered, that is in supreme danger. Silent Noob, broadly speaking, locked out of the air game, and as a result, you can see why Kryak went so hard on establishing early air dominance. We are indeed going for a little bit of a ghetto gunship business here, but it's not a full ghetto gunship. He's actually loaded up one engineer for good measure. Is he going to drop that off somewhere on the way in? That is the question. Interceptors hovering over Silent Noob's base, broadly speaking, trying to maintain as much air dominance as possible. One lone Tham and a Selen, or a couple of Selems, 2 Thans actually, not lone at all, so 2 Thans and 2 Selens pushing up to this little position over here. Might be successful in brushing aside an engineer and a couple of mass extractors, but this has the potential to really open up this game. So he drops off the engineer to steal Silent Noob's plateau. Of course you want my plateau, says Silent Noob in local chat, well aware of what's going on. Well, it's a little more than that. He might have thought he was airlifting engineers only, which is why there was a transport in play, but in fact he's gone full ghetto. He's already bagged himself an engineer kill and a mass extractor. All 3 mass extractors likely to go down here at this little position. Where is the air response? Well, as yet we don't have much in the way of interceptors for Silent Noob. So this play is a long way from being over. Needs to skirt away from inbound mobile anti-air. Silent Noob moving up with a couple of ISILs there. Oh, that's a nice little denial, although the mass extractor, one of the mass extractors, has been completed, but the engineer's been killed off. Silent Noob says no thank you. He's also going on the attack up here with a T1 bomber, but that's going to get shot down. Krayak's probably going to want to bring those interceptors back into play, though, because he's still got a little bit of room on the ghetto gunship play. Engineers and Thams falling foul of it at the moment, but next up is a couple more mass extractors. At current reading, Krayak up 23 to 13 mass per tick. Is that an accurate reading? No. Silent Noob power locked at the moment, so not getting a full mass reading from that. But there's yet more mass extractors that could be taken out here. Inbound interceptors locked on. Is he about to eliminate this threat? He's killed one of the mech marines on board, so only 4 mech marines left. But lovely escort detail work. Secures the skies around it once again. That transport's going to survive on 109 hit points, and now there's 2 more mass points that are going to be under threat. This has been a fantastic play from Krayak here. We're inside 10 minutes. Another mass point down. Interceptor picking off the bomber instead of the transport. Let's say that's the smaller of the 2 threats, and in fact the bomber isn't even killed off. 6 points left on that. And that will be another mass point down. This really does show you the value of a well-executed ghetto play here. Krayak storming away with this. What's been happening on the ground game, meanwhile? Silent Noob has pulled his comm all the way over here on the right-hand side. Probably feels like he's got some serious catch-up work to do, and he wouldn't be far wrong. Krayak's comm dead center of the map. Would love to deny this little forward base if at all possible. Current mass reading now, Silent Noob with power, so that's an accurate readings, only pulling in 17 mass per tick. Krayak pulling in 26, up so far about 500 mass in terms of total mass accrued. Land Factory receiving fire from Krayak's comm. Currently producing mobile anti-air, and you understand why. Has the ghetto gunship finally been dealt with? I'm not seeing it, unless that's it. No, that's not it. That transport has full health. That's just a new drop heading up to the top left-hand corner. And there has been a saucy little drop from Silent Noob, which has managed to get a bunch of Thams in around the back of Krayak's base. Unfortunately, no Zooies amongst this mix, this unit comp. That would have done a lot more damage. Might be successful in blapping a hydro here, however. What will that do to Krayak's power balance? It certainly won't be good. There we go, negative net power, using up the stored energy he has so far, and Silent Noob is not done yet. Trying to take down some of the T1 P-gens flanking this air factory. And that that is the end of that little threat. But still, nice little counter drop there from Silent Noob, who really must have felt like he needed to do something after that ghetto play. He's not that far behind. He's about 5 mass per tick off his opponent, who's up about 2k overall now. But it does show you, sometimes we like to highlight how early harassment doesn't always pay off. You're utilizing important actions per minute which could otherwise be spent expanding your early game eco and developing your unit production. But in this case, it seems to have given Kryak just a little head start. Can he hold on to it? Currently moving over towards the east and potentially looking to sandwich Silent Noob's commander, who is a little overextended and a little light on support. Needs to move in simultaneously though with his other ground forces. I think he actually senses the danger. It looks like he's making a play for this pond just over here to his south. What's happening over on the west side of things? Middle of the map still held by Kryak at the moment, and the play to the top left hand corner did not work out. He did actually manage to get a hydro at least nearly built, maybe all the way built, but alas, Tim and Todd did not survive. Countered with a little Tham drop, which incidentally might have been going on the offensive once again. Planned for another attack on Kryak's main base, but maybe it was diverted. Or maybe that was the plan all along. If you're watching Silent Noob, do tell us in the comment section below. And if you're looking for his comment, while you're down there, love, smash the like button. It's good for my ego. It's good exercise for your index finger. I won't say what I was about to say, it's a family show. Engineers caught out over here in the west, belonging to Silent Noob. 3 dead civilians. But I think the main base, or the forward base, largely will be protected. That land factory pumping out a decent amount of units, securing its own perimeter. Silent Noob has withdrawn his commander from that pond, and Kryak has moved back onto his side of the territorial divide. Where are we now on eco terms? Well, Kryak has extended his lead. It's now 41 to 25. Both of these players, well, I was about to say both of these players have sorted out their power issues. Kryak seemingly has not sorted out his power yet, but that 44-45 mass reading is accurate. He's still feeding off stored up power reserves. Kryak getting himself another air factory. Really could do with access to some T2 power. Has anyone started any upgrades towards T2 yet? Yes, we have a land T2 upgrade on the way for Silent Noob. That will be using up crucial resources, of course, which you'll need in the fight on the ground against Kryak, so I'm wondering if he'll have to drop back here. Seems to have pumped out a decent number of units, though. Let's just do a main battle tank comparison, shall we? 53 Thams on the field, or at least this area of the map, for Silent Noob, compared to 81 strikers for Kryak. Zoom in to get a little bit more of a local picture. We're looking at about 61. So advantage definitely with Kryak. He's got more units, he's got more mass. Is he upgrading to Tech 2 anywhere yet? Oh, he already has T2, excuse me. So he's also ahead on tech. There are the T2 engineers, and there is the first fusion reactor, which is queued up. Transport dispatched to the top left, just to airdrop one of the engineers, I think, that which was loitering on the plateau, down onto the valley floor to grab that mass point. Nice little counter against some of this spam in the air. Where are the air forces for Kryak? Well, they're flocking to the scene of the crime. Bombs away onto the ridgeline. Presumably taking out a radar since he's immediately re-queued one up. Pretty good place for a radar station. Out of the way. Silent Noob looking aggressive though here as we approach the 15-minute mark. Kryak dropping back, continuing to work on an air factory in curious placement. And we have our first upgrade of the day. Gun upgrade, 15% complete, rising fast. Now absorbing more power than he would like, I'm sure. Currently working on his first T2 power generator. I'm imagining we have a fusion reactor up and running by now. Yes, we do. In fact, we're working on our second. Nice illustration of how far ahead Kryak is. He's also up 6k overall. So this is his to lose right now. Gun upgrade at 60%. Kryak still unupgraded. Give a local firepower advantage to the blue team. Three-quarters done, and there is the response. Gun upgrade on the way for Kryak. Started substantially later than Silent Noob's, who was only 15% away from completion. If he can get a move on, he might be able to force a cancel here, although Kryak's got a decent amount of stored mass, it would seem. That upgrade proceeding very, very quickly. No denial likely here, I'm afraid. Gun upgrade complete for Silent Noob. He's going to go on the offensive, but by the time he gets there, Kryak will have parity. There is the big shiny gun. Both comms now newly equipped with their big tools, ready to get the job done. Air factory not longed for this world, I think, and that was a curious placement. Perhaps just giving something for Silent Noob to shoot at. New T1 PD. Gonna struggle against an upgraded commander, but there's a decent amount of inbound spam on the way to reinforce the area. Some T1 bombers over the top to put some damage on Silent Noob's ground forces in the area. Both of these comms at around 20 kills per piece so far. Lovely little assault over here on the left-hand side, and this is the first real time we've seen some T2 presence on the field. We've got two Tech 2 pillars on that western approach for Kryak. And that little trio of mechs is soon to be defunct, I think. Silent Noob on the warpath. One-star comm, 33 kills to his name. Kryak happy to yield a little bit of territory. Let me just do a quick pillar count now. So we've got 13 pillars on the field, 2 over here. The rest of them largely coming down this channel, perhaps to join this little body of troops on the left-hand side and give Silent Noob something to be concerned about, because if there's enough T2 units down here, this game is over. Silent Noob may have to pull his comm back to reinforce. Kryak might just be counting on that. That's why he's happy to draw him in this direction and lure him away, give up a little bit of territory. There's nothing really to be gained here. You can draw over to this position and hold this. Engineer's getting to work on some T1 PDs. But he's not going full aggression with these pillars just as yet. Finally, that forward group of units for Kryak gets demolished, and now we've got some Ilshivers in play. We can see how many Silent Noob is rocking. Well, he's got 13
Commander
now.
Under attack.
compared to the 16
Commander under
pillars
attack.
on the field for Kryak. One triad in place, soon to be a second. This position likely to become unconquerable before too long. Certainly too strong for Silent Noob to deal with. Silent Noob rapidly running out of supporting forces. He's going to find himself all by himself. Has got this pond once again to fall back on, though. And another wave of units coming in from the southwest. Nice little attack by Kryak with those pillars. Should shut down those Ilshivers once again and perhaps put this position recently reconquered back in jeopardy. Silent Noob has taken a battering. He's down to about 7,400 HP. Kryak continuing to press now, having shed those hit points off his opponent. Needs to be a little bit careful though. That's quite a lot of FAMs surrounding him. Kryak down to 6,000 hit points. Silent Noob perhaps should think about going for the draw here. It wouldn't be a terrible decision. But instead continuing to stick with the MO, depleting the other regular forces in the area and the build capacity, which are continuing a point defense creep right now and shutting down his mobility options. Lovely overcharge there, taking care of a whole group of engineers. That will stall any more ground production in the area. Transports airlifting more T2 units to the front. Saucy little Aloha popped up in the middle for Kryak. Firing its first missiles, and they are inbound towards the main base. We do have some tactical missile defense, and that saves that T2 mass extractor from certain death. But it's not comprehensive coverage, and that missile just hit an interceptor out of the sky. Hilarious. Kamikaze interceptors throwing themselves into the path of inbound missiles to defend the main base, but alas, the next one will make it through. T2 mass extractor that was feeding those 4 land factories now kaput. Kryak on very low health here, down to 2,300 HP. Silent Noob just lacking the unit count to get the job done. Goodness me. T1 bombers desperately dispatched to try and finish the job. He's now got a parashield to cower beneath. Silent Noob also looking very unhealthy, down to 3,500 HP there. He's chosen a T2 upgrade on the comm, so he's routed to the spot for now. Better hope that no torpedo bombers show up in the immediate future. I think he's safe. I don't think we've got any T2 air production. But that will restore a good old chunk of hit points. Allow him potentially to try a bit of a point defense creep out of here to conquer this position if he's so inclined. Pillars dispatched to this pond. Are they just going to sit on the bank and wait for him to emerge, I wonder? Risky play, of course. A comm can dip in and out of the water and overcharge as he goes. Transport destroyed whilst on the ground. A lot of fighters out of fuel. It's going to reduce Kryak's aerial combat effectiveness somewhat. Still has operational advantage though, even without those units. He should be able to finish those fighters off, although they're all fighting over the top of some Shivers. Mobile flak ruin your interceptors real fast. But the T2 upgrade has complete, and it's restored a good old chunk of hit points, but he's still only down around 8,700. It's a A lot more than can be said for Kryak, though, who's on a very paltry 4,700. However, we are starting to amass a serious quantity of T2 for Kryak here. Lots of pillars, lots of mongoose for ranged grenade and Gatling gun capabilities. Apologies if you can hear my dog in the background there. It's particularly edgy today, very unhappy with those by-election results. Not on ideological grounds. Just that Keir Starmer slept with his mum and then never called her. Apologies for that. Thought I'd turn the ye old phone onto silent. Make sure we'll do that so we are not interrupted. Once again, it's the wife demanding that I pretend she's at home, putting her work computer on for her. Many of her bosses are watching. Congratulations on your taste in video games. Silent Noob looking a little bit aggressive here at 25 minutes. He has got that extra upgrade, of course, and he's almost repped up to full health. Got himself a few Ilshivas, so to speak, but that is a lot of T2, as we already mentioned. 16 pillars, 17 mongoose, total DPS 6,251. If that is all directly applied onto the comm at once, could end very badly indeed. Total DPS of the Ilshivas in the area, by comparison, 1,365. Kryak slowly repairing under shield coverage, up to 7,500 now. And it's more or less 50-50 in terms of map control. So Silent Noob is expanding nicely, but look at the mass differential here. 93 to 55. Kryak's early advantage, which he got from that ghetto gunship, has never been assailed. If that's even the right word. And wow, we're starting to see Percy's entering service. We're at T3 ground for Kryak. Do we have T3 ground over here? No. And we're not working on it either. Still producing Ilshivas. Attack missiles still getting the job done. Is that the Sane launcher? No, that was the Aloha. There must be a second one kicking about. Yeah, in this little fire base. Oh no, excuse me. Not attack missile at all. It's a Clink hammer. Saucy little piece of artillery loitering in there. Slowly softening up that forward base. Silent Noob has pushed up here with a merry little band of Ilshivas, which could threaten this pocket. One plasma cannon in situ. Not enough to defend against all of those units. But I am very concerned for Silent Noob. Is he even aware of the Percival threat? That's the question. Arguably, possibly no. You can see he's got a radar signature there. He knows that's an army. Probably thinks that that's all engineers. He would be almost right. Not sure what Kryak's trying to achieve here, moving into point defense coverage. Probably wasn't aware, actually, that Silent Noob has been setting up a little forward base here. But Silent Noob very unaware of the sheer number of units or their makeup. Hasn't scouted this once, and certainly doesn't know that there are Percivals in the mix. Kryak, with his comm in play, might be looking to end the game right here, right now. Has himself a forward shield set up, somewhere to retreat to if it all goes pear-shaped. And now spamming up some triads to help secure the area. Silent Noob, so far unwavering. Working on a attack missile launcher, that is bold. Forced to cancel work on that. Kryak receiving a huge amount of fire, though, from these Ilshivers. Already down to 7,500 hit points. There's the response from the ground forces just out towards the east. Parashield brought in for emergency protection on Kryak's comm. But interestingly enough, these are not all dashing straight in. I'm guessing he's concerned that Silent Noob would be able to identify the major threats and just overcharge them. We've got 2 Percys here. We've got 2 more further back. I'm surprised he didn't bring all the Percys forward to join these units. But now Silent Noob is aware of the threat, backing up slowly and reclaiming as he goes. He's seen the quantity of T2 and has now seen that there's T3 in play as well, and will be very concerned, I'm sure, about that. Pillars and Mongoose coming in towards the south side of Silent Noob, perhaps trying to cover his retreat and cut him off. Kryak shadowing this move with his comm, but needs to be very careful. He hasn't got a huge amount of hit points to his name right now. But Silent Noob hasn't got a huge amount of support and finds himself getting surrounded. This could be it. 7,000, 5,000, 4,000, 1,000. Boom, baby! On the nose, well, over the nose of 30 minutes. 30 minutes and 40 seconds. And really, yeah, hard start. Silent Noob never really got back in it from that early game. He did recover somewhat, and I'm wondering actually... No, he wasn't power locked, I don't think. A few mass extractors went pop about the place, perhaps, which is what brought down the generated total, which has disappeared now from 90 odd down to about 74. I think Kryak was pulling in the end compared to Silent Noob's 50. But look at the totals overall: 117k versus 84. And ultimately, that's what did for him. He was never back up to parity. He was always behind, either by a factory upgrade or the amount of tech units which were on the field. It was just fundamentally unsustainable. He never managed to get that big, solid counter-punch in, which leveled up the game. If you enjoyed that, then there's another similar game. These 2 guys have been duking it out mano a mano on the 1v1 ladder for a little while now. We've covered another one of their matches over on the Patreon account. It's a mere $1 a month if you want to go and check that out. There's that, and I think about 95 or 96 other premium casts, all without ads, available for your viewing pleasure. You also get access to the Discord as well, so do please check that out if you haven't already. It's a great way to support me, and by extension, the community. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. There's always more to come from me in the future, but until next time, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.